If you're in the market for a brand new electric bike, but you're not sure if you should get a folding bike, this is the video for you. There are 5 things you should definitely know before making your buying decision. Number 1, why would you even want a folding bike in the first place? You might be thinking that a folding bike would be easier to put into your car, into your trunk, maybe underneath a storage area of your motorhome. And if that's a reason for looking at the bike, the answer to that would be yes. Electric bikes that are bigger or heavier are simply not going to work in those situations. You're going to need a bike rack. With a folding bike, however, you don't need one. It gives you a lot more flexibility on where you can put the bike. So a bike that looks like this while you ride it can look like this when it's in your trunk. Other areas where space may be restricted would be on something like a boat or even a small airplane. Now, don't think you can get away with buying an electric folding bike and taking it on a commercial airline. Typically, the batteries are far too large and they won't be allowed. On private aircraft, however, that's not a problem. Another thing in regards to the folding mechanism that I think is often overlooked is that you don't actually have to fold it all the way down. One of the problems that gets in the way is the handlebars. See, they are sticking out side to side, and if you turn them sideways so they're in line with the frame, well, now your wheel's to the side, and that didn't really help. With most folding bikes, however, you can turn the handlebars down off to the side, and now everything on the bike is in line. Even the pedals can actually fold in alongside the cranks. So this gives you a nice straight bicycle that fits in more places, often narrow spots that a standard bike just isn't gonna fit unless you actually physically disconnect the handlebars or something else. And if you look at this from the side view, you can see how short the bike is. I've actually seen people fold just the handlebars down, and if they have, for example, a pickup truck with a camper shell on the back, now the bike can actually fit underneath a low camper shell without folding it all the way down. So just something to be aware of. There are multiple ways you can collapse a folding bike to make it fit where a regular bike would not. If all of those things sound appealing, then a folding bike might be for you. Question number 2, how long does it actually take to fold one of these bikes down? This is a Bolton Ebikes Avenger model, fully set up and ready to ride. Let's put it down into the most compact position and see how long it takes. That's it, we're all done. Not long at all, and as you can see, it doesn't require any tools to do. Now this leads into question number 3, are folding bikes safe? If the bike collapses that easily, could that ever happen while riding? Now thankfully there are several safety measures in place, so that really can't happen. For example, for the handlebars that fold down off to the side, this lever is what we pull for the handlebars to fold down. But if we try and pull on this, you see, nothing happens. They're nice and firm. This isn't going anywhere. It's firmly attached to the frame because there is a safety mechanism right here. So you not only have to pull this, you have to lift up the safety first, which is spring-loaded, before you can pull this lever off to the side. The same goes for the joint in the middle of the frame. There is not only this lever right here, so we have this kind of quick release, and if this is totally loose, we'll move this all the way out of the way, this is still not going to fold. There is a slight wiggle right there, but it's perfectly safe. I could hop on this bike, ride it around the yard, and it's not going to fold in half. Because it also has a safety, this has to be pushed up for the pin to release right here. So without that pushed up, this hinge cannot move and the bike won't fold.
Question number 4, am I too tall to ride one. You often see folding bikes like this with smaller than average wheels.
The reason, of course, being that if you want a folding bike, you probably want it to fit into a smaller space. And if you want to fit it in a smaller space, it probably makes sense to have a smaller tire. The bigger the tire is, the more challenging it is to design a bike that can break down and fit into a small space. So at first glance, the bikes might look small, but looks can be deceiving. If I have everything adjusted to the lowest point, you can see that this bike has a very low standover height. The seat is very low. In fact, I can actually sit on the saddle and have my feet both firmly planted on the ground, which if I was to try and pedal would be extremely uncomfortable. I actually need to lift that seat up quite a bit. But that means that somebody around 5 foot could comfortably ride this bike. Now, what if I was closer to, say, 6 foot? Not only can the saddle come up this high, but watch what the handlebars can do. Yes, they actually have a mechanism to move up to about there, making the bike much taller than it was a minute ago. So just because a folding bike can be very small, it doesn't mean it has to be for a very small rider. Let's put it next to the 26-inch Blackbird, which I normally recommend for somebody in the 5'8" to about 6'2" range. You can see with the handlebars and the saddle all the way up, the handlebars are actually at a very similar level. The saddle is at a very similar position. Now the bike is a little bit shorter, so the reach from the saddle to the handlebars is different than the Blackbird. This does have an adjustable stem that comes back, so we could get these a little bit closer, but this bike does ride in a more upright position. That's just the nature of that particular frame design. But you can see how this bike, when adjusted properly, can fit a wide range of heights. Now, if at this point you're thinking, yes, a folding bike is for me, that's what I want, where can I get one? Then I'm gonna have to say for number 5, make sure to check out Bolton e-bikes. Again, this is the Avenger model. It's a 20-inch fat tire bike with mechanical disc brakes. It has a very large capacity 48 volt, 17.5 amp hour battery. So if you wanna go for nice, long 40, even 50 mile rides, yes, this little bike can do that. It comes standard with fenders front and rear, a light in the front, a wired-in tail light in the back, a rear rack, and also brand new for this model, a very vivid color display, the same as found on our popular Blackbird. This is one of our entry-level bikes. They're very reasonably priced, and I have them in stock. We just got a shipment in today as I'm filming this video. This is the box I just pulled that bike out of. But you can see we have rows and rows. There's actually rows behind this row, and there's another row behind that row. So we have plenty of Avenger bikes in stock. Now we also have some of the Crusader models available, which are basically the same except for a different frame. They are a complete step-through design, so they're even easier to get on and off. And those are available in 2 different colors, a pearly orange and a nice pearly white. So if you want to come into Bolton e-bikes in Grass Valley, California right now, you can buy a bike and take it home with you. But the good news doesn't stop there. I like to review other e-bikes, and I have just a few of those that need to be done. We have one from Driven Bikes. We've got a new brand called Unicycle. Here's another heavyweight bike, Troxis brand, HJM, a little folding bike from Mack Wheel, the G-Force S22, the Hay bike, and believe it or not, there are even more on the way. But this week, if you purchase anything from Bolton e-bikes, you will automatically be entered to win one of 5 review bikes. I'm giving away 5 bikes this week alone. So your chances of buying a bike like the Avenger and winning a second bike, like one of those bikes in the box, is 5 times higher than usual. I'll put a link in the description of this video with more details about the giveaway. Unfortunately, blah, blah, blah restrictions may apply. On Friday, we are going to have a review bike marathon. Normally, I only review 1 bike at a time, but tomorrow I am going to review multiple bikes all day long. If you want to learn more about the bikes I'm giving away, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit the bell notification. You are going to see review after review after review. It's going to be awesome. And don't forget, any purchase on boltonebikes.com will automatically be entered to win one of those 5 bikes. Now, if you just want to learn more about electric bikes at this point, you could do one of 2 things. You could go watch this video where I explain why so many electric bikes have fat tires, or you could go watch this video over here where I explain how to prevent getting flat tires.